Alright, the 3 stocks to avoid July 2022. Now I usually make a video about the 3 stocks to buy, the 3 ETFs to buy for the month. However, given the theme of 2022 being sell and get the hell out of the markets, 2022 has been disastrous for investors. We have seen a record sell-off pretty much ever since 1970 or so for the S&P 500, so about 50 years. Oh, how lucky we are. It's been awful. No one has been safe unless you parked into cash or you put your money into energy, in which case you saw the future and amazing for you. So without further ado, we're going to start first with an asset class rather, this one being crypto. Now I do like Bitcoin, I do like Ethereum. I believe both have utility for the long term. However, just the sentiment in the markets and these being pure greed or pure fear, right now we're having pure fear, and Bitcoin and Ethereum have not been an exception. They've also gotten sold off pretty brutally over the past few months specifically. Now Bitcoin tends to do very well the closer it gets to halving or right after halving, as again, think of supply and demand. When supply gets slashed in half, naturally, again, there's going to be more demand in that case relative to supply. And I think maybe at that point, perhaps crypto in general will do better, but we're about 2 years away from that, May 2024. So again, I do like Bitcoin, I do like Ethereum, but specifically when I talk about avoiding crypto, I'm especially talking about the altcoins. Look at Tether, these stable coins, Binance, XRP, Cardano, Solana, Dogecoin. These are awfully risky assets. They're pure speculation, and right now the market is having none of it. They don't want anything to do with risk on. Even when you go to the stock market, you're looking at the safe names like Apple, Microsoft, Google. They've been at no exception to this sell-off. It's been pure red. So the higher you go on the risk curve, the more likely you're going to get burned, especially right now in July of 2022. I would stay away from anything too speculative because, again, you're probably going to get burned in the short term, and you might see your investments drop 90% until you see them eventually go up to what you hope they will. So be very careful. With Bitcoin and Ethereum, no one knows the bottom, obviously. Maybe it is sooner than we think. So perhaps a safer way to do this right now is to dollar cost average, but I don't want to prescribe anything because anyone that's been dollar cost averaging over the past 6 months has been getting burned as well. So crypto, stay away right now. There's no rush. And again, if we do see some kind of miraculous turnaround, then maybe at that point you could be more confident. But right now, there's absolutely no reason to rush into any of these assets. And this also goes for stocks like Coinbase, where if we look at the year to date, we are down 80%. How awful is that? Again, going from a market cap of near 100 billion, now we're at pretty much 11 billion. It's been completely awful. Even looking at a name like Voyager Digital, down 97% year to date. And this is actually one that I was investing in, and I did pull out early. Thank goodness I did. I think I came away with maybe a slight profit or minimal losses, but what a moot point at this point with everything just falling off a cliff, including stocks. Alright, so the second sets of stocks to avoid for July of 2022 would be ARK Invest, the ETF. If we look year to date, we are down 57.5%. And if we look at the last 5 years, we peaked back in February of 2021. And since that point, we are down 72%. For a fund manager, Kathy Wood, who had a wicked 2020, where her fund went up 300% from March of 2020 to that peak in February of 2021. But specifically, if we look at the holdings of that ETF, these groups of stocks, I just wouldn't touch them for similar reasons to crypto. They're just higher on that risk curve, and no one wants a part of them, especially when it comes to unprofitable tech. Now, you do have Tesla. They are profitable. That's the one stock that I would dollar cost average in July of 2022. But other names like Zoom, Roku, CRISPR, Teladoc, Exact Sciences, all these high-risk names, there's no point in really being in them now unless you believe an imminent turn is going to happen in the market, in which case they likely will outperform. But at the same time, similar to crypto, there's no reason to rush into them. They're just not in favor right now, and sometimes that's just the case when it comes to market dynamics. Sometimes they are in favor and they'll outperform, and sometimes the exact opposite where they're going to underperform, which they are right now. So you look at Zoom, for instance, down 40% year to date. Over the past 5 years, it did peak in October of 2020 at about $560. Since that point, we are down 80%. Now, it's not like Zoom is a bad business. It's not like Zoom is going to not be used anymore. Plenty of people use it every day, but that sentiment, its utility, it's never going to be used more than it was used in 2020 when everyone was locked up at home. And you have big competitors like Microsoft Teams, If Zoom is going to try and roll out different features and different products, it's an uphill battle when it comes to fighting against Microsoft, who they have such a sticky moat. What moat does Zoom have that they can outcompete? They can't, essentially, and I don't think we'll ever see these highs ever again. Ever, really. You look at Teladoc, I remember this one was $300 back in February of 2021, pretty much the same time that ARK also peaked. Since that point, we are down almost 90%. Now, again, a market cap of $5.61 billion. This is probably where we are going toward the future, with doctors talking to you over the phone, but at the same time, that hype, that euphoria, are we ever going to see those highs ever again? It's hard to say, but at this point, most likely not. Again, you're just putting a lot of risk where you might go down another 50%, another 60% before you see some kind of traction with these kind of names. Similar to Zoom, it's not like it's a bad business. It's not like no one uses Cash App. People still use it every day, but at the same time, it's just not as highly valued as it once was, and it's no longer in favor. And the third and last category that you should absolutely avoid for July of 2022 is the meme stocks, the momentum stocks, GameStop and AMC. So GameStop now at $123, still much higher than it was back right before the euphoria and at the end of 2020, early 2021, where the stock was trading for $4 a share. It's much, much higher than then, but at the same time, from those heights back and that short squeeze back at the beginning of 2021, where we were briefly at, I believe, a high of 475, we're down over 60-70% from that point. Again, that momentum, that risk is just no longer there. The exact same situation with AMC. There was a movement. There was people thinking they could beat hedge funds and just the manipulation that there is in the markets. It's no longer the case whatsoever. The high for AMC in June of 2021, I believe, was intraday $72. From where Google has it at $59, at that point we're down over 77%. Again, similar idea. The risk isn't there. The sentiment isn't there. There's no momentum. No one's buying these stocks right now, and there's no demand for it, right? There's a lot of supply, no demand, and then what happens? The price is going to go down. So very simple, not rocket science. These are names that are not in favor whatsoever at this point. And again, things may change on a dime completely, I won't say tomorrow, but very shortly. We have no idea, and if anyone tells you for sure what's going to happen, don't listen to that person. However, at the same time, you have to be fallible. If things do change tomorrow or things happen next week and all of a sudden a risk on and everyone's piling their money and we're doing quantitative easing, there's easy money again, for sure. These names will be the first ones to outperform. But again, you have to be very careful with this because, again, it's unlikely that's going to happen for quite a while at this point, and it sucks. Obviously, a lot of people have lost money, and it's tough out there. So again, you guys, avoid these high-risk, highly unprofitable names. If you are to put your money at work, you do want a dollar cost average, especially during this rough macroeconomic environment. You want to have names that have a moat. They have strong pricing power, names that will thrive regardless of whether we're in a recession or inflationary times, that have profitability, and they're going to be there for the long term. Can you necessarily say that AMC or GME or any of these highly unprofitable names will remain? Can you say with any certainty that anything with crypto is going to last in 5 years from now? No one knows for sure. We're seeing a lot of these hedge funds go underwater, go bankrupt. Who's to say that any of these altcoins are going to survive as well? Most of them aren't going to survive. That's why I do like Bitcoin and Ethereum for myself, but also aren't in favor right now. Let me know in the comments below, what are you avoiding when it comes to the markets? As always, subscribe, like, and as always, check out the links below to my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Twitter. I will see you guys in the next video.